Welcome back. We're off the case and we need to go let Arkansas know that we can't continue the investigation. It's all up to the First Division now. Now, expected a scene there, obviously. Who should we speak to? Hear music coming from the main stage. Elie must still be practicing. Probably. Let's head on in. Interesting music. Whoa. Looks like we're in for a treat. Phew. Oh yes, quite good, quite good. Oh, look who showed up. Everyone. Oh damn, lucky us. You two are incredible. Indeed, I've never experienced anything quite like that. You think so? Sounds like if we start ironing out the kinks, this might become a crowd favorite. Oh, that gives me an idea. How about we delay the Moon Princess entrance by just a tiny bit, Rixia? That'll cause the Sun Princess to be taken by surprise after she starts her scene. That's perfect. Your dancing isn't the only thing that's amazing. You're building upon a finished scene, even though you don't have to. How's that amazing? If we have the ability to do it, we might as well strive for perfection till it's time to perform. But enough about that. Any developments in the investigation? Oh, that's right. Yes, actually. It's, not exactly good news. What do you mean? Alright then. Let me go grab Avon. And then you can fill us in on everything, okay? This Yin character sounds like he's quite dangerous. Why did you show me the chandelier? Why? Can't be serious. It's really somewhere in the city? Wowza, ain't that a kicker? A shadowy immortal assassin that the Eastern Quarter sings legends about. Oh, I love it. That character will play a huge role in our next production. Actually, let's just throw him in. Couldn't we use those white robes from the third act as a costume? I mean, you've already got Yin right next to you. Oh, Elie. We should probably try and take this a little more seriously. According to our intel, a group known as Highway appears to have been employing a criminal named Yin. Still don't quite understand why Yin sent Elie the threat letter in the first place. That's the bit that's like, One thing is certain. The possibility that this is just a prank has decreased exponentially. Is there any chance you could postpone, or... Not a chance, buddy. We wouldn't walk off the stage even if a bomb was about to go off. I mean, you should definitely get off the stage if what? Isn't that right, Avon? Well, I suppose so. I'm not the one on the stage, so I can leave at any point, so I'm fine. Not as much as Elie, but we of Arkansas are, alas, possessed by the great monster known as the stage. How do we find this monster and kill it? We don't find one member of the troupe who would refuse to appear on stage when faced with the opportunity. I may be new to all this, but I feel the same way. I swear, you guys are obsessed. Yes, that is pretty much like we're on option 2 of my thinking at the moment, based on everything I said in the previous part. If you intend to proceed with the show, would you care if we handed over security duties to someone else? Well, I mean, it's pretty annoying, but we all have to make sacrifices. Those First Division guys, what kind of people are they? Good question. They're definitely qualified, but they might act a little too qualified at times. Objectively speaking, they're excellent at what they do. First Division are an elite group that lives up to their name. They should be able to protect you and your show with the utmost discretion until curtain call. Yuck. Just my luck. You know, we'll have plenty of guests watching. Can't the First Division just worry about them rather than us? Patience, Elie. Patience. Anyway, we are talking about you here, Elie. Once the play starts, I doubt you will care much about what they do, right? How rude. I'll have you know that I always pay close attention to my audience. The show begins only when the audience and play become as one. Oh my. Isn't that one of your famous sayings? For anyone else's case, yes. In yours, however, I'd say forcibly dragging everyone along to your own rhythm is a bit more accurate. He's not mincing his words at all, is he? Indeed. All the evidence indicates that Elie has a remarkable obsession with acting. Excuse me, Lloyd. What will happen to your investigation? I'm really sorry, Risha. Don't have much wiggle room here. The First Division is most likely going to take over the case. The good news is that I doubt you have anything to worry about. You're officially off the case, then. Well, that's a bummer. The only reason I agreed to all of this was because you were leading the show, Lloyd. Still, I appreciate you looking into things for us. I'll send some tickets your way as thanks, so be sure to come and see the play next time you're free. I'm sure we can arrange something. Though I'm afraid you might have to wait until the end of the anniversary festival. If you're okay with tickets for next month, I can have them sent to you as gifts. Seriously? Oh yes, and here I was thinking I'd have to wait 2 months to see it. It's quite generous, thank you very much. She's quiet. Is something bothering her? Yes, indeed. What is bothering her? I'm so sorry, everyone. That caused you nothing but trouble. Don't worry about it, Risha. After all, wasted efforts are just another part of the job. Such is the nature of crime prevention. Yep, no worries, Risha. Get about us and focus on the private performance, eh? If you guys say so, then I will. Thank you, everyone. Private performance? The hell? Don't know about it already? Conceal puts on a little sneak peek of their new show before it's available to the public. That's correct. This will be my first time performing in one. People from the media and other select individuals, home and abroad, have been invited to attend. I could only assume that lots of celebrities will come too, and boost awareness of our new production. Wow, that's pretty crazy. By any chance, was Mayor McDowell invited as well? Oh yes, he's our guest of honor. The others have told me that he plans to publicly support it in conjunction with the anniversary festival. He's quite kind. Despite his busy schedule, he made time to stop by and encourage us. I very much like him. Good luck with the private performance, Risha. Maybe your first time, but I'm sure you'll perform wonderfully. You think so? Absolutely. Considering all the training you've put in, I doubt you have anything to worry about. Hell yeah. This play's gonna be sick. I'm quite looking forward to it. I appreciate the vote of confidence. I'll return to practice then. Thank you for your help, everyone. You know, I don't comment on the localization here at this point. The Geofront stuff. It's like... Randy makes more modern references than anyone else. Like, more like up-to-date references with the real world. It's like... I'm wondering why. Like, is there something more behind it, or is it just they chose to do that with Randy? It's like... It could just be because, like, the signifier, like, he's from... Okay, my chair just made a noise. It's because the arm went funny. Yes. He could be from somewhere else, or that type of stuff. Maybe it's a clue to that. He's a different upbringing, or that type of stuff. It's a character trait, essentially. Because I don't see pretty much anyone else making... Like you said, it was sick. It's like, it's a more modern reference. It's that sort of, like, interesting aspect. Just keeping an eye on things like that. Not opposed to it, it's just interesting. Ready to head back, guys? Nothing better to do. Feel exhausted, both mentally and physically. I can relate. Oh. Haven't we met before? Yeah, we have, back at the doll studio. It's been a while. Your name was Ren, right? Correct. I believe it's been about a month since we last saw each other. And you know, it's very impolite to have to double check what a lady's name is. As a gentleman, shouldn't you have had no trouble remembering it? You're right. Sorry, Ren. Stern little girl, ain't she? You look like you're all alone. Did you take the bus to come look around the city? Yes, something like that. See, I enjoy visiting the antique shop by myself every so often. And they occasionally put Grandpa's dolls on display and, oh, they have the absolute cutest stuffed animals. They do, huh? Still, isn't wandering around this part of town alone kind of irresponsible? I assure you, nothing here possibly poses a threat to me. The barkers and hostesses are all very nice people. And those men in the back wearing all the black glasses never fail to make me laugh. That's okay. You make me worried, Ren. Oh, that reminds me. Did you have fun playing hide-and-seek with the wolves? It looked as though you had quite a few uninvited guests show up at the last second, too. Come again? Did you get all that from reading the Crossbell Times article about the case? Sure, let's cover that. And that wolf became your friend, didn't he? If you could, please introduce me to him next time you have the chance. Sure, we'd love to. Lloyd, take in the details, please. It's like, come on. Like, even Falcomer pointed out, like, you're not much of a detective, are you? Sort of thing. Mysterious as always, this one. Indeed she is. That wolf became your friend, didn't he? If you could, please introduce me to him next time you have the chance. Why are you here? Wait, isn't that? Oh, thank goodness. I was just starting to wonder if I came to the wrong place. Ernest? Did you come to see me? Yes, I did. I had business to attend to at the office, so I decided to stop by. Elie? What's wrong? You don't look too great. Well... So, you've gone to see our conceal recently. Related to your police work, I take it? Well, sort of. Someone in the troop was asking us for advice, and, we went to report what we found, that's all. You know, Elie, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to come here today or not. But I know I made the right decision. What do you mean? Allow me to be brutally honest with you. Elie, I want you to quit the Force and return to us. Quit the Force? He wants her to do what? Oh there, buddy, that came out of left field. Does not appear to stem from feelings of love, at least. I know it was your idea to join the CPD, Elie. But you have the eyes of a lost lamb. You look so... exhausted. Ask yourself, is this really the path you should be walking? What are you saying, Earnest? Listen to me. I know you understand the current political climate and the despair that comes with it better than anyone. And that's likely where your initial urge to join the police originated from. Just try to think about the torment and pain the mayor is going through. How he feels in the current situation. I never meant for Grandfather to. The anniversary festival draws nearer with every passing day, and Mayor McDowell is up to his neck with work. And after that, it's right back to arguing with the Imperial and Republican factions over the budget. Then the very next month, he'll be up for re-election. As I'm sure you know, Mayor McDowell has had plans to retire, but without a suitable successor, he remains undecided. I'm sure that if you were by his side, he would feel much more confident. I'm sorry, Elie. Perhaps this was uncalled for. However, I can't ignore the issue any longer. As someone who respects Mayor McDowell, and as your friend, I cannot stand idle any longer. Ernest. Obviously, what path you choose to follow is entirely up to you, but all I want is for you to not regret your decision. Follow what you know to be right. Just give me time to think about it. Excuse me, everyone. I'm tired, so I'll retire to my room for now. Sure, Elie. Go ahead. My apologies. I know suddenly showing up out of the blue wasn't exactly tactful. It's okay, it sounds like Ellie's situation is more complicated than we thought. As long as you stop bothering Elle, we're cool. What Brandy said. Personally, it feels like you are attempting to take Elie away from us. Really, that wasn't my intention. Still, you are aware that she wanted to become a politician before a police officer, aren't you? A politician? Really? You don't say. RL. That would explain her seemingly boundless knowledge of politics and economics. As the heir of our current mayor, it was only natural for her to pursue a career in politics. Her years as an exchange student in so many nations should have contributed to her talent for international relations and politics, but when she returned home last year, she was dead set on joining the CPD. So that's how it happened. I was unaware. I did always wonder why a fancy lady like herself was working for the CPD. Would you keep an eye on her until she makes her decision? She's too talented, too skilled to simply flounder about like this. The bell tolls. Goodness. Would you look at the time? I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time. I'll get out of your hair now. That's alright, see you, Ernest. There he leaves. In earnest. Yes. Great. Today has been filled with sighs, hasn't it? With the ringer we went through today, well, I'd say they're warranted. My brain's fried. Yours and mine both, Randy. Anyway, let's report back to the chief and call it a day. So that's where things stand. Well, you okay with leaving the situation as is? You're saying we have a choice? The First Division took over the case. There's no way we can oppose them, given our team's position of the force. You make a good point, Lloyd. The fox would probably track you down and start barking at you till the sun set. Yeah, that seems to be one of the Deputy Director's favourite pastimes. Could we not simply offer our assistance to the First Division? Don't know how well that'd play out, considering old Four Eyes' attitude towards us. Yep, that's also a long shot. The CPD is a territorial bunch, and it makes the organization a hassle to deal with. That goes double for the First Division. Their stubbornness wouldn't allow them to accept help from a group of rookies like the SSS. But if you're talking about working incognito, that's another topic altogether. You're proposing we go behind their backs? This is the Special Support Section, the most unconventional squad out there. Since we're kinda ignored by the department, that gives you a certain level of discretion that you can use to your advantage. Basically, if you play your cards right, you can act without provoking that territorial nature of theirs. Make sense? In theory, maybe. Dude, you do realize you just said we can ignore our superiors' orders, right? You've been quite the bad influence. Didn't I make myself clear? I won't work with you in the field, but I'll cover for you where I can. You're the ones jumping into the fire, not me. That being said, the current situation might make this plan impossible to pull off. One of you is struggling to figure out what to do, and this situation is something you can only overcome by operating as a unit. You're right, but... well, if Elle doesn't know what to do, she must really be down in the dumps. She'll probably get over it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have some butterflies. She's been like that all day, from what I could tell. Is Elie going to be alright? Well, that was worth it. It's like, oh, yes, oh, I'm back to sleep. What if we can explore at night? Be interesting. Elie. Over these past 2 months, I thought we'd become pretty close, but... sounds like all the important issues she's dealing with flew right over my head. I suppose it makes sense that Mayor McDowell's granddaughter is an aspiring politician herself. Now that I think about it, you didn't attend the police academy, right, Elie? So how'd you happen to join the CPD? Well, to be honest, this is part of my plan to study our society. But I didn't attend the academy. I did take a written exam and marksmanship test when I applied. They couldn't really reject me since I made perfect marks on both tests. You know, the more I learn, the more I feel like we're worlds apart. Oh? It's pretty rare for rookies to already earn the detective license, isn't it? You have your own circumstances, right, Lloyd? That's... Perhaps it'd be best to continue this talk after we've officially become co-workers. Well, you're officially co-workers now, so... Alright. I'll try talking to Elie for a bit. If she's worried about something, I might be able to lend a shoulder. Not mine, though. Just, a shoulder. And... is it time we continue that conversation we started? Yes, it is. Just checking on everyone else, though. Randy! Oh, what you up to, Lloyd? Going out on the town? Well, not exactly. It's about Elle, then. Well, I'm sure she has her own things to worry about, Not sure if it's the kind of stuff we should really be butting into, though. Yeah, that might be true. But still, if something's on her mind, I want her to know she can rely on us. Trust me, I don't want to see her down in the dumps either. I'm just not sure if we should really be butting into her personal issues is all. Understandable. I was going to say he's not here, but he is. He's at his desk. Oh, it's you. Don't come in bringing down the mood, got it? Sorry about that. Still working, Chief? The SSS, unconventional as it is... And the SSS, unconventional as it may be, is still part of the CPD. So that means paperwork. If you don't have any pressing issues, kid, could you lead me to this? I'd like to get all this finished before daybreak, Right, sorry for the interruption. Growl? Zai definitely enjoys his lounging. Oh, you busy reading something, Tio? Yes, I was halfway through the science journal, actually. Lloyd, about? I know. You're worried about Elie too, aren't you? I was just thinking about going to talk to her. Is that so? If that's the case, I'll leave it all to you, Lloyd. After all, dealing with these sorts of issues doesn't fall into my area of expertise. I'll leave Elie in your capable hands, Lloyd. Initially, I believe that it might be appropriate for another girl to handle this issue, but this field isn't really my forte. Very well. Here goes nothing. Elie, do you have a minute? No reply. Is she asleep? No, I don't sense anyone inside. Wait, you have that sense as well? Excuse me, I'm coming in. She's not in her room. Where could she have gone? Should I try searching for her? There's only one place it could be, is the roof then. Where's Copper? There she is.
Lloyd?
Hey, Elie. How'd you know it was me? Just a hunch. Well, I say that, but I think I knew you would come somehow. So you did. Breathtaking as always. Isn't that the IBC in the distance? Yes, it is. Lloyd, doubt you would find a night sky as beautiful as Crossbell's, even if you scoured the entirety of Zemuria. Yet the more the lights of the city shine, the more the stars seem to dim. Well, yeah, light pollution. The stars, the purity of the starlit sky and the symbol of the goddess. Elie, did I have to remind you of what happened today? But of Varch, Ayue, and Dudley. No matter what you do, you can't change Crossbell's true nature. Varch's iron grip is here to stay. I'm merely referring to them as our fellow business competitors. State law protects competition between businesses and free trade, Do you take offense with that, officers? We're charged with maintaining a certain degree of order in this city, where justice cannot truly be upheld. We're expected to suppress major crimes and protect the public from criminal organizations and foreign intelligence agencies, all while fighting an uphill battle. Can you possibly fathom the work that goes into that? And therein lies this city's darkness. The tragic truth of the state called Crossbell. Kept alive only by the will of the Empire and Republic, stripped of all pride, lied to and deceived. We're drowning in false prosperity and frivolities, only because our captors allow it. Everyone just surrenders to these circumstances and accepts the status quo, blissfully ignorant. Again, that feeds into Yuna's scene, doesn't it? She was blissfully ignorant, she was so proud of Crossbell, and it's like, yeah, that's the city we live in, Lloyd. Maybe you're right. But you don't want to surrender just yet, do you? I once had a mother and father. Once had? Oh, I suppose putting it like that makes it sound as if they've passed away. They're still very much alive. What I mean to say is, they divorced when I was little. My mother lives in the Empire now, and my father in the Republic. Oof. Had no idea. My father was born and raised in the Republic. He moved to Crossbell City, met my mother. After marrying into the McDowell family, he strove to become a politician. Immediately after becoming a Diet member, he recognized the ugly, distorted reality of the city. Someone with a strong sense of justice made it his duty to mend this broken city. Year after year, he drafted reform bills, all in the hopes of bringing change to the state. That's amazing. It's not. In the end, his bills were never passed. The Imperial and Republican factions both shunned him, ridiculed him. One by one, his allies betrayed him, friends left him, and he became the laughingstock of the political world. Not even my grandfather, as well respected as he is for being neutral, was able to mend his career. My father was shattered beyond repair by the state he once held so dear. And then, one day he quit, as a dear member, as a husband, and as my father. He decided to leave everything behind for Calvard. Really, I'm so sorry. Mother couldn't stop him. And at the same time, she couldn't follow him while dragging me along. Eventually, they settled on a divorce and my father was gone for good. I always thought Mother hated him for what he did, but I'm sure she was just heartbroken. It soon became apparent that living in Crossbell, a state that robbed her of her love, would be too much to bear. So my mother left me behind in Crossbell, went to live with her relatives in the Empire. That was when my grandfather took me in, raising me to who I am now. It was from that moment on that I vowed to follow grandfather down the path of politics. It's not as if I feel the urge to avenge my father or anything like that. I couldn't accept reality. How could a family so jubilant and loving end up in absolute shambles that quickly? After I made my decision, grandfather began to help me. I studied abroad all over the continent, focusing on politics and economics. However, the more I studied, the more I realized that the gears of Crossbell were powered by oppression. After all, Crossbell lies between two great powers. Our justice, our national interests are intertwined with Erebonian and Calvard, only serving to blur the line between what we need and what they want. That was when I finally saw it for myself. Crossbell's barriers. Yes, the same ones my father faced, and one I'm sure my grandfather faces too. Lloyd, do you know who represents the Crossbell state government? Shouldn't that be Mayor McDowell? Well, yes, but there's technically two people. Crossbell City Mayor and the Speaker of the Diet. Grandfather and the Imperial faction Speaker Hartman jointly represent our government. That's how we operate, according to state law. Sounds like I neglected some of my studies. But wait, why'd Crossbell adopt such a divided system in the first place? That's obvious. If two equal representatives continually hinder things by butting heads, political reform is nigh impossible. No way. Is that really how things are? I'm afraid so. With two people on top, one side can easily sabotage the other if they try to push some sort of reform through. The fact that this happens is an ironic inevitability, given Crossbell's founding. 70 years ago, Crossbell State was born from a mutual agreement between Erebonian and Calvard. In fact, Crossbell's founders were none other than Imperial and Republican lawyers. Seeing the current state of Crossbell, can't help but think of it as a curse. I was at a loss. If I were to continue into the world of politics, the same curse would grab me by the neck and drag me under just like my father. That's why I decided on a new approach, one my family hadn't yet tried. And that was the CPD. Yes. From there, I told myself I could observe Crossbell's distortions without looking through the muddied lens of politics. I convinced myself that my experiences gained here would be my weapon of choice on the day I entered Crossbell's political arena. The reform that my father failed to achieve and grandfather is unable to pursue. But this new, embellished perspective could finally make it become reality. I'm sure it can, Elie. Perhaps. But in the back of my mind, I know that joining the CPD might have only been an escape. I knew that what happened today was inevitable. But still, the reality of things was even colder and crueler than I had imagined. When confronted with that, I was at a loss. Maybe I'm incapable of doing anything on my own after all. Maybe I'm just a broken little girl, abandoned by her mother and father. So what? Huh? You really are a perfectionist, aren't you, Elie? Failure isn't an option. The only way forward is to place everything on my shoulders here and now. That's the way you've been thinking, isn't it? That's not... Look, I agree. Today sucked. Being ridiculed, having to hear that all our efforts are in vain. But think about it. Aren't those the things we signed up for when we joined the SSS? Remember, Elie, there may be barriers we can't get over today. That doesn't mean we won't be able to get over them tomorrow. Barriers we can't get over today. Right now, the one in front of us is the threat letter case. And even though the First Division has taken control of the investigation from us, I say we continue investigating separately from them, if at all possible. What? There's nothing we can do about it, is there? Sure, the First Division may be phenomenal, but even so, it's obvious that they're stuck in a cop's mindset, only adhering to traditional logic. Maybe a new perspective is exactly what needed to crack this case. At least that's how I feel about things. Lloyd, just like how you joined the CPD to gain a new perspective on Crossbell, right? Should we miraculously solve this case, then surely what you're aiming for isn't an impossibility, right? I'll admit that comparing our current investigation to Crossbell's underlying issues is a bit of an oversimplification, but what we need right now is the experience of overcoming these kinds of obstacles. Think about it. Clear the small barriers one by one. If we do that, then someday we'll have the power to get over the taller ones too. Lloyd, in these 2 months we've been together, I've come to realize something. You have your own set of barriers you want to overcome, don't you? If that's the case, how are you able to stay so optimistic? Well, let's see. It's because I have someone I'm trying to catch up to? Though, that in itself may present some issues. I think I understand. I'm not as strong as you are, Lloyd. I'm just so tired of it all. Despite how things seem, didn't intend on talking about my past as much as I did. Just couldn't keep it bottled up anymore. At this rate, I'm only going to drag the team down. If that's the case, I should probably... Elie, listen to me. We need you, Elie. Your profound knowledge, your negotiation skills, your sharpshooting, your sense of justice. We're going to stand up to this city. We're going to need you. But, let me rephrase that. While all of that's true, my point is this. If you stay by our side, Elie, I'd happily take on anything Crossbell has to throw at us. What? All of us were a bit of a mess at the start, but I think we've gotten pretty close over the past 2 months. Even when we were bombarded with the stress of daily life, we make time for the small things, like deciding whose turn it is to cook or to do the laundry. When it comes to our field of expertise, we've come to place our trust in each other. Should we be grateful to have partners like that? Well, it may still be rocky, sure. It's way too early for us to give up hope for Crossbell's future. And with it, our dreams. We'll tackle each day head on, do whatever we can, and keep confronting the status quo relentlessly. If that somehow fails, we'll just come up with a new plan. Not just me, but Randy and Tio too. I've no doubt that the Chief would do everything in his power to help us out as well. Heck, even Zeiss has our back now. Bottom line, you're not alone, Elie. Not anymore. I'm not alone. Yes, that's true. I'm disappointed that I forgot something as simple as that. Thank you, Lloyd. Even though it won't be easy to solve all my problems. You're much better now. Refreshed, even. I'm glad to hear that. Still, apart from the lines that sounded like they came straight out of a teen drama, I was a bit surprised. I'm painfully aware of how cheesy they were, okay? What do you mean by surprised, Elie? Because, well, talking about how I'm needed and telling me that you want me by your side. I thought you were confessing to me. Confess? Yeah, wait for it. Just that, like, wait, hold the phone. That wasn't my intention at all. Oh? Are you implying I'm not worth confessing to? You know that's not it. Oh, come on. You're just making fun of me now, aren't you? Just a small dose of payback. You should be a bit more self-aware, though. Honestly. I don't know whether to call you a natural smooth talker or an up-and-coming womanizer. Hey, hold on a second. You still talking about me, or did you switch to Randy? Your denseness doesn't help your case any either. Good grief, Lloyd. I believe that words alone made me get all flustered like that. What'd you say? I missed that. Nothing. It's nothing. I'm really sorry for leaving the Chief's report all up to you. Have you come up with a plan about the investigation yet? Not yet. I just can't shake the feeling that, in the end, this is all happening by Yin's design. Tomorrow we can ask around and see if we can't find some sort of lead based around that. That's fine by me. Next to you, I have a feeling that I'll be getting a good night's rest tonight. How about we hold a meeting tomorrow morning, after we get our much-needed rest? Sounds like a plan. Oh, that was lovely. I like her so much more now. Lloyd and Elie learned Star Blast. Okay. By spending 100 CP each, a powerful combination attack can be unleashed. And that concludes this week's report. The warhounds they've trained may prove troublesome. If Master Yin were available, he would easily compensate for our lack of force. Very well. Proceed with preparations as planned. Next on the agenda, recall half of our personnel currently dispatched in Altair. Understood. I shall take my leave, Master Chow. Have a pleasant evening. Yes, to you as well. How troublesome. I'll have to worry about the consequences later if I request the Elder's assistance. Seem to be in a bit of a bind. If only Master Yin were more cooperative, our plans would be proceeding splendidly. Worry not. I plan to uphold my end of the bargain. I mean, the shoes give it away. Do you now? It shouldn't surprise me that you were eavesdropping. Dear me. I fear I may have made a few slips of the tongue. I can only presume you had me hear it intentionally, correct? Always the tough customer, aren't you, Chow? Goodness, no. You, on the other hand... Never mind that. Do you wish to discuss business tonight? Or are you perhaps in the mood to cull some warhounds? Your subordinates are more than capable enough to handle such a minor threat. The deal was to have me take care of Avarch's main force, beginning with that man Garcia. But do correct me if I'm mistaken. Oh dear, you truly are no fun. It's come to my attention that you've become entangled with Arkansas for some odd reason. Just a reminder that the CPD isn't too shabby at their jobs. So don't do anything to soil my good name. Do I make myself clear? No need to worry. More importantly, what kind of impression has the special support section left on you? Oh, so that's your game. You have ties to them, do you? Let's see. They are an odd combination of children. Especially Mr. Bannings, who seems to act as their leader. He's perfectly aware of his weaknesses, yet he continues to push forward with determination. His intuition is enough to keep him on his toes, too. Quite like his type, to be honest. I was not asking you about your tastes, fool, but about the other members. Again, each one of them proves to be quite interesting. Mayor McDowell's granddaughter possesses a keen sense of diplomacy and operates as the team's administrator. As for the girl from the Epstein Foundation, while her oboe staff itself is fascinating, she's likely hiding a few tricks up her sleeve. Lastly, we have our ginger gentleman. This may only be my intuition speaking, but I felt that he's the same as us. Surely you understand? Yes. I must ask, why have you taken such great interest in them? Whatever do you mean? I only wish to put them to a little test. Would they prove to be worthy opponents for Yin, to whom you have entrusted your request? Ooh. It's the name of the game, everyone. It's a new day, everyone. I probably should have done the rounds when it became afternoon, but isn't it a bit ridiculous? Despite our work, we had no choice but to hand the case over to the First Division. Risha was smart enough to ask us, but just imagine if she hadn't. Everything we learned about Yin would have stayed in the dark. Yeah, I know. Can we think of some way to trick them? Some kind of diversion? Let's think for a minute. Who would know about the existence of Yin? Well, obviously, Heiwei, considering that's his current employer. Then there's their rival, Rivage, and the First Division, who's tracking Heiwei's movements according to Dudley. From there, we can assume that Speaker Hartman, who's closely tied to Rivage, knows about him as well. That's the man you mentioned yesterday, right, Elie? Yes. He's a career politician who more or less rules over the Diet, serving as the leader of the Imperial faction. Honestly, it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that he's Rivage's greatest supporter. Incidentally, almost all of Grandfather's reform bills were crushed by this man. I've always heard his name, but never understood the weight behind it. In this instance, wouldn't Yin be their opponent? That would make sense. Tio, Randy, what's up? You two look as you just saw Arkansas for the first time. No, it's just... You're in quite the good mood today, aren't you, Elie? Well, of course. Listen, I'm sorry, everyone. Wasn't myself yesterday. But trust me, I'm fine now. I don't intend to be a burden to the team. Elie, you've never been a burden to us. Quite the opposite, actually. You help us out constantly, no matter what the situation is. I mean, look at us right now. You're making connections in the case that I'd never been able to make. I guess so. Something smells fishy. Agreed, something is off. Very off. What's that supposed to mean? Wait a minute, you two. You know, I could hear a pair of voices chattering away on the roof from my window. I wonder... Elie, Lloyd, congratulations. I wish the best for you two. Hold on. Didn't do anything that warrants congratulations, right, Elie? Yes, I mean no. We were just talking about life and other things of that nature. Life, eh? Mm-hmm. I'm sure you did. So Lloyd, how far did you go? Randy. Please, Tio's sitting right there. How far did you go? Is Randy referring to the intimacy people engage in while in romantic relationships? Nope, not at all. Lloyd and Elie. Sitting in a tree. Guys, cut it out. Yes, Mom. Jeez, you guys are insane. Me and Elie together, romantically? I'd say the odds of that happening are pretty slim. What was that? I mean, we're kind of incompatible, and everything last night was strictly professional. Right, Elie? What's the matter? You numbskull. You just signed your death warrant, Lloyd. Oh yes, you are so right, Lloyd. All I did was ask you for some advice on a very unimportant subject, that's all. And there most definitely wasn't any sort of romantic atmosphere, like you oh so graciously pointed out. Alright then? No, by incompatible, I only meant that we don't exactly make a good match. Oh dear. Sorry. Too easy. Well, on the bright side, it looks like you've perked up since yesterday, Elie. Ah, thank goodness. Wasn't sure whether or not you were going to stay with the CPD. Sorry. Never meant to make you all worry. Don't know where the future will take me, but right now, I know this is where I'm meant to be. So I'm happy that I get to keep working with you. I wouldn't trade you for the world, Elie. The SSS wouldn't be the SSS without you. Amen to that. Besides, doubt we get anything done around here without you to keep us from goofing off. I wouldn't have to be so stern all the time if you three would stay on task. Well, that's enough of that. Lloyd, do you have any idea what to do about the investigation from here on out? Yeah, about that. We could always attempt to corner you in with a different approach than the one the First Division is using. But considering how many methods there actually are, we might just end up even more confused than we are now. Yeah, that's probably not the best strategy. But we go on a little trip to Calvard's eastern quarter. I bet we'll find a few clues about you in there. I'm on board with this. Are you being serious, Randy? Would we even get permission to go on a business trip? Given our team's situation, that won't be allowed to travel very far. Tio? Did you think of something? Well, I was contemplating looking into the police database a bit more. Perhaps I would be able to learn about the First Division's movements and so on. Then again, I already searched it last night, so it likely hasn't been updated since. It's not a bad idea. Hey, beats sitting around here and doing nothing. Ah. What is it, Tio? How strange. Seems as though we have received an ARP mail. What's that again? Aren't they essentially letters that can be sent from terminal to terminal? Precisely. The peculiar thing is, despite being extremely useful, almost no one in the CPD uses orbal mail. Most likely because not many officers are trained to use keyboards. I'm one of those, unfortunately. Well, who's it from? Let me check. Impossible. What's wrong? Who would send us? I, Ian, hereby submit my support request. Overcome this trial and face me. Only then will I grant you your mission. It's him. Is this some kind of joke? Tio, where was this mail sent from? Definitely not the police department. Got it. Apparently it was sent from the International Bank of Crossbell, otherwise known as the IBC. What exactly does it mean? The IBC is that bank that rakes in murder from all of us in murder, right? Why the hell would a place like that be sending us prank mail? Don't ask me. I can say, however, that this mail was definitely sent from an IBC terminal. I have no way of knowing who sent it, though. I'd go with Yin. Could it possibly be that Yin infiltrated the IBC? It's not out of the question. The IBC is home to quite a few external companies and organizations. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's an Epstein Foundation office too. That's correct. An acquaintance of mine works there, actually. But it seems I forgot to mention something. The open mail was sent directly from the IBC's main terminal. Because of that, the possibility of a company being involved is low. Well, we won't know until we ask them. I wanted our investigation to fly under the First Division's radar, but we really don't have any other choice. Yeah, going undercover this time might be a little tricky. Should we hurry up and check it out before they screw everything up again? Actually, We may be able to perform our search in secret after all. Well, you know someone at the IBC, of course. Really? How exactly? My best friend's father works at the IBC. If we told him about our unique situation, he might give us a hand. You think so? Huh. Ain't that convenient? You got more connections than you know what to do with, eh, Elie? Well, I have a decent amount. Unfortunately, I have no way of knowing whether or not he's even in Crossbell City, given how hectic his schedule is. What sort of position does he hold there? Pretty important one. Honestly, I'd be surprised if you didn't know his name. Dieter Croy? The Dieter Croy? You know him? What? He famous or something? Yeah, he is. Honestly, you could make the argument that he's just as popular as Ilya. Dieter Croy. He's a prominent Zemurian billionaire, a leader of the world economy, and the current CEO of the International Bank of Crossbell. He runs the freaking bank? Mr. Croy was originally an old friend of my father's, but he's also kept a friendly relationship with my grandfather. Because of that, I've known him a good portion of my life. Oh, and I almost forgot. His daughter is one of my closest childhood friends. Oh, that's amazing. Thing is, we can't do much if he's not there, even if he is the CEO. You're right. I heard that he spends almost half of the year flying abroad. Nevertheless, there's no harm in trying, is there? Even if Mr. Croy isn't there, my friend might be. She may be able to help us. Let's do it then. I think we already have a rough idea of what the situation is, so should know what in particular to investigate. Intentions behind the oral mail, right? It was rather intimidating, but what exactly does he plan to do? Well, it's obvious that the other party contacted us intentionally. I say we take the bait. Agreed. Shall we head to the IBC? So, obviously we're at a point where we'll be doing the rounds, so we'll be doing them in the next part. Ta-ta for now.